I acknowledge the Noongar people of Bilia Budja. Long ago now and in the future, they care for the land on which we live. I acknowledge their continuing connection to land, waters, and culture and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. The document requiring preservation is a 17-year-old Curtin University award certificate. It is a paper document facing preservation issues due to inherent vice, environment, and the handling it receives. This presentation will summarise these issues and suggest methods to reduce the rate of deterioration of the physical object. The digital surrogate, a scanned copy of the document stored on a computer drive, also faces preservation issues due to the instability of digital media. I would also discuss how management of the digital files can reduce risks to preservation. The award certificate is made of thick paper and held in a cardboard folder in a filing cabinet in a house in Perth, Western Australia. Use is infrequent, occurring less than annually. It appears in good condition, although there are some ink marks due to poor handling. The first preservation issue facing paper is inherent vice. Harvey and Mahad define inherent vice as the concept that any material contains factors that can contribute to its own decay. According to Harvey and Mahad, paper produced after the mid-1800s is usually made from wood pulp, which contains lignin that chemically breaks down, becoming acidic and leading to embrittlement and discoloration of paper. Inherent vice is an unmodifiable risk factor, making management of the extrinsic risk factors even more important to reduce the decay rate. Extrinsic factors affecting the preservation of this document include the storage environment, packaging, and handling. Environmental factors include temperature, relative humidity, air pollutants, light, mold, insects, and pests, and it has been identified that severe fluctuations in temperature and humidity are more damaging than constant highs. The National Archives of Australia suggests environmental conditions for paper records up to 30 years old in non-tropical areas at temperature no more than 27 degrees Celsius and relative humidity no more than 60%. If these targets can't be met continuously, the goal should be to avoid severe fluctuations. Fluctuation in temperature and humidity are possible in the Perth climate, along with the location of the filing cabinet against a common wall with a bathroom. Temperature and humidity can be kept more constant by relocating the document away from any damp rooms. A thermohygrometer could be purchased to monitor temperature and relative humidity. This data could be used to determine if conditions are meeting desired targets. If they are not, I could use the instrument to choose a better location or identify air conditioning or heating settings that allow targets to be met. Regular checks of the cabinet for mold and pests should also be performed. Harvey and Mahad note that these problems are less likely to occur if temperature and humidity are managed. Light is unlikely to be a significant preservation issue due to housing within the filing cabinet and infrequent use of the document. The International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions core program on preservation and conservation and Council on Library and Information Resources recommends packaging paper documents within lignin-free, sulfur-free, and alkaline buffered folders or boxes. This packaging is ideal for preservation as it protects from handling, shelving, movement, light, and dust, and buffers against fluctuations in the external environment and air pollutants. The document in its current folder could be transferred to an archival quality folder in an archival quality box for protection. It should be kept in its current folder as it was issued by the university and retains the item's context. Handling is another preservation risk as evidenced by the ink marks on the document. Harvey and Mahad provide recommendations for handling documents such as washing and drying hands before use, working on a flat table, touching only areas of the page with no printing, and returning to the folder immediately after use. Attention to this advice will reduce further damage. The document has been digitally scanned and stored on a personal computer to allow access to its information content while minimizing physical handling. According to Harvey and Mahad, issues facing digital objects include obsolescence of software, hardware, and file formats, and damage to storage media. The State Library of Queensland suggests storing scanned images on a computer drive, backed up to multiple external drives in separate physical locations, and utilising cloud storage if desired. The National Archives of Australia recommends storing digital documents in uncompressed TIFF format with 400 ppi resolution and 24-bit depth, with access copies stored as JPEG or PDF files. Harvey and Mahad recommend regular checks of digital files and copying to new storage media when required. Following these recommendations will aid the long-term preservation of the digital surrogate, although they are not foolproof. In conclusion, inherent vice, environment, packaging, and handling are some of the preservation issues facing this paper document. An easy, cost-effective method for preserving this item is to transfer it to an archival quality folder and box. Monitoring and managing the storage environment's temperature and relative humidity should maintain relatively constant conditions which are best for preservation. Attention to handling practices will minimize further damage to the item. Digitization is one method of enabling access to the information content of the document while minimizing the handling it must endure. This comes with its own preservation risks.